started out Thursday night, the Tigers taking on Kentucky. Of course, we got to just see a walloping of the game. What was it, 16-6? Run ruled them in the eighth inning.
Yep.
Um, One thing I found interesting, and I don't know if y'all noticed, but Kentucky continued to play their brand of baseball, even though they were down six. They continued to bunt to try to move runners over into scoring position. Like, come on, man. I've heard that this Kentucky coach is not a very well liked coach in just in college baseball. He's very bush league in the way that he coaches the game. And I mean, you're down 10, man. Just let your players swing away. You're just trying to draw out the game and like get into the bullpen. So I don't know if y'all noticed that or what your thoughts were on them bunting when they were down by a million in the third inning.
I mean, that's just what they're built on. Kentucky is a small ball team, but we saw this weekend that they can also hit some home runs, especially the Saturday game and also, well, the Saturday and the Friday. I always get mixed up with these Thursday through Saturday series. I'm thankful that we're
Luckily,
back
that's
to
done.
our,
Yeah.
our regular scheduled program. But yeah, we definitely picked a good game to go to. A lot of offense in the first two innings, especially. Jordan Thompson with the grand slam to put up a six spot in the first inning, and then in the second inning we get more home run action with Braden Jobert to really put it out of reach. And then we also had another home run in the third inning. So the top three innings we saw 14 runs, and you just thought like, is this team going to put it up 30 at this point? But they decided to relax a little bit. Skeens had another great outing, 13 Ks. I know he gave up 5 runs, but when you win by 10 runs, then you can take that
Yeah.
outing any day of the week. So a great outing and a great weekend for LSU. Kentucky is a really good baseball team. I think that they're going to be, I know that they have a rough stretch coming up. They still have to play South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee coming up. So we'll see how Kentucky finishes up in the East. But with LSU, though, I mean, another top 15 win, and now you get to ease up. I know it's like Ole Miss. Ole Miss is probably going to treat this like a Super Bowl, but really good showing for LSU this weekend.
I mean, Ole Miss just played their Super Bowl against Mississippi State in terms of the rivalry. So, of course, they got beat, lost the series. I think they took the Saturday game, but yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, when you're the number one team in the country, as LSU is, you're gonna get everybody's best every day. And we saw that from Kentucky. Maybe not Thursday night, but drop the Friday game. I think LSU just played their way out of that one. Too many errors in the field. Some bad breaks on that. But one thing, Kentucky was getting a little chirpy with Paul Skeens out on the mound. The ump had to pull Paul Skeens aside because there was something said between, I think it was the second baseman. What was his name?
Emilion Petrie.
Stanky, Petrie, and then also
Yeah, Petrie.
Stanky that was batting like 182 coming into the weekend, which he did have a great series. And then Petrie did his whole little like after they won the game, he did the crossed arms. It was like, oh, it's like, dude, okay, you just got beat by 10, and you of course you got beat the next day, but he said something after Paul Skeens got his last strikeout, probably under his breath, said it just loud enough for someone to hear and hope it wasn't Paul Skeens. And I watched the replay. Paul Skeens heard it, his ears perked up, and he turned around and goes, "What'd you say, bro?" And the whole dugout like jumped back. They're like, "Oh crap, he heard us! Like you just unlocked the beast." And that's why I think why the umpire kind of got in between there. He's like, "Uh-oh, the animal is unleashed," and he already threw his 7 innings. He didn't care if he gets tossed. He'll start chirping back, as we've seen from Paul Skeens on the mound. I mean, he was in the Air Force, dude. I wouldn't be messing with him. Like, he'll probably take you out before you even know it. So, and then, of course, we had the trash talking on Saturday with good old Bear Jones after he hit his bomb. We saw that in the good Barstool Sportsbook. Wade, how was your time at the slots in the LaBerge?
I had a good time making my way. Played a couple of the slot machines that we played on the cruise, and came about net even. So not too shabby. But the new sports book there at LaBerge and Baton Rouge is really cool spot. I would definitely recommend it. I'm glad I got to experience it for the first time with you guys. And we were able to convince them to put on the game that y'all were talking about on the big screen. They have like a scoreboard style setup with 4 big monitors. We had the LSU gymnastics on as well for the national championship meet.
If they would have just paused the scoring when they uploaded LSU's final, we would have won the whole thing. But of
That's
course,
right. We
they had
got
to
our
upload
scoring
everybody's
first.
score. Yeah.
And yeah, it was fun to take all that in with you guys, and we were very clearly able to see what Jones mouthed at the
Oh
Kentucky.
yeah. It's like an 8-foot by 10-foot TV screen. We saw it as soon as he hit the bomb.
Yeah, his mouth was about 3 feet
Yeah.
in size in front of us.
If you're curious what he said, just look it up. It's all over the place. We won't repeat that language on this show. We try to keep it somewhat PG-13, and what he said was not. But it was. I kind of like the emotion when you're the top dog and you just hit a nuke 452 feet off some guy who's quick pitching you, which I didn't realize until I started watching the video. He hit him with 2 quick pitches. Like as soon as he walked into the box, he's throwing.
Mm.
And then the third one, he's like kind of put his hand up to the umpire, like, give me a second. And the guy tried to do it, and the umpire called time, and then he hits a freaking nuke, over the Tony Satchery sign. As Fletch said, everybody should have got free Tonys. And that was
should
in
have a Tony's
attendance.
cannon. It just goes off.
And it just
All the
shoots
spices go
seasoning.
over.
Everybody in the left field bleachers starts, coughing.
Hey, they had some spices on your flatbread, huh, Chet?
Yes, they did. If you're ever in the Barstool Sportsbook in the LaBerge Casino, order that barbecue flatbread. I had
But
some
get an
like,
extra
red.
beer.
Yes, get it. That's definitely for sure. I had a red jalapeno pepper on this thing, and no lie, I was sweating out bets, and I was sweating from eating the pizza. We'll jump into that in a little bit. Had a few bets that hit, won my money back in blackjacks. I can't say the same for NASCAR Neil. Sorry, buddy. But he had a good time. But we had a wonderful weekend. Of course, with to cap off, I guess the LSU talk, like you mentioned, Tyler, we got Ole Miss coming up next week.
Mhm.
They haven't fared great in the SEC series, but LSU, I would probably think I don't want to. You can't really say South Carolina was like a bad series based on the first night because of the rain delay, and we didn't get to play Game 3. I would probably say the Kentucky series was the low spot of LSU's play this year in terms of. I mean,
Really?
Friday was great, but or Thursday was great. Friday, a lot of errors, a lot of mental mistakes. Didn't really. I mean, yeah, we put up like 7 runs or something, but then Sunday it felt like we just kept having to get bailed out. I mean, yeah, people came up clutch at the end, but the pitching was like iffy until the last few innings on Saturday. I would say it's probably one of the lower. It wasn't a bad performance. Obviously, you take the series, but it was a lot of adversity that the team faced. They did bounce back from it, but I feel like at one point we were going to hit that peak, and then kind of have a lull and then try to get back going. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think it was like their lowest point of the season. I think it's good that, to face adversity. It's not good, going back to last year's Tennessee, Tennessee team. Like that team was like all the talk of the college baseball world. They were just destroying people left and right. And then they, blow through their regional, and then Notre Dame beats them in the super regional. So you can kind of compare this LSU team to that Tennessee team last year. It's a really good start, but he's still got to take care of business coming up. I know that a lot of our fans are saying like, "Oh, this is like sweep city coming up." We have Ole
And that's
Miss
what
and
you want.
Alabama
You
of
want to
our
hope for the
next 2
best, but
series, but I think that to face adversity is good for this team. I mean, as much as we love seeing these run rules, it's always good to see that Saturday game where Kentucky. You get up 1-0, then Kentucky comes back and puts up a 3 spot on you, and you answer right back, and then Kentucky. It was like a back and forth game, and then in the end, you got really bailed out, you could say, off of Tommy White hitting him in the butt cheeks there, but
yes,
they were able to.
Tommy Tanks there aiming for that booty.
Yeah, but if there is a weakness for this LSU team, it's the pitching after Paul Skeens and the bullpen. I do think that there was a bright spot in the bullpen. We saw Bryce Collins. He's starting to really turn the quarter. At the start of the season, it looked like he just lost his stuff completely, and it looked like he got back his curveball as
Yeah,
well. And hopefully
2
you can
weeks
get some.
ago,
Hopefully you
I
can get
did
some
the same
injuries
thing.
back. Jay Johnson had a press conference on Monday today. Didn't really give anything on Garrett Edwards or Chase Shores. didn't really give anything on that. Nate Ackenhausen, he said last week that he was going to potentially be available this weekend against Ole Miss. And then another good thing we saw Javen Coleman. He didn't get into the game, but he was starting to throw some bullpen. So we should be getting him back soon.